everyone! What's up? How are you? My name is Julia Manicucci and I'm a Brazilian living in Romania. And today I came to talk about something I never did, but you guys always asked me in the comments, in the DMs, that are the rights of LGBTQ plus people in Romania. Are you ready? We brought two people that came to talk about it, that came to explain their own experiences. So it's very interesting, it's very nice to see from their own perspective how they are living their lives. Please watch the video with a lot of love, empathy, and understand that they live a life that is much harder than most of us do, because the society doesn't treat them necessarily as equals with the rest of the society, which I simply don't understand why. Before starting, please leave me a like, a comment, subscribe down here, and let's dive right in. Hi guys!
Hi, my name is Eric, I am 20 years old and I am from Craiova.
I am pansexual, I identify as pansexual.
I am a gay man.
And also non-binary.
My gender that I identify with is male.
My pronouns are they, them in English, but in Romanian I use she, her, because we don't exactly have a word that translates they, them in Romanian.
In Romanian I use he, him, and in English I use he, him, but I also use they, them.
Being pansexual means being attracted to all genders, regardless of the gender of the people. I identify as non-binary because I feel like life is not just women and men, but it is a unisex, universal experience that we all get to live. Actually, yes, I do.
How could I not know?
June is a celebration of the Stonewall riots that happened in the US on June 28,
1969,
where transgender women of color, and other queer people fought against police brutality.
And the shot glass heard around the world was thrown by activist Marsha P. Johnson
in front of the Stonewall Inn, which was a very popular place for queer people at the time.
The Stonewall Inn was one of the few open bars that welcomed LGBTQ plus individuals, while the city had draconic anti-cross-dressing laws or homophobic laws in place. So it was a bit of a safe haven to get into.
It all started as a riot, but it became throughout time a way of expressing our joy, our queer joy, and to still show people that we are here and that we are still fighting for our rights and that love is beautiful. Pride is necessary. We don't have rights here in Romania almost at all. And pride is a great way of celebrating who we are and of asking for our rights, because it's something that is needed. Transgender people here cannot get gender-affirming care. Queer people cannot form families. They cannot even be registered as a couple. It's really painful to be an LGBTQ plus person and live in a world where people treat you like you are not human. Like I said, Pride started as a riot and is gonna continue with peaceful protests to be able to become equal citizens with cisgender heterosexual people.
This is gonna be a lighthearted question.
I discovered my sexuality when I was 12. I went to this camp for dancers or whatever.
My sexual awakening was the hero Hercules from the Disney movie.
I was in the same room with a bisexual girl and she just asked me, "Hey, is it all right if I kiss you?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?"
I saw the movie when I was around 6 or 7 years old, and it basically hit me in the face.
And after we shared a kiss, I realized that it feels the same as it does with boys, and I really enjoy it. I thought, oh, so that means I am bisexual. But later in life, I wanted to identify as pansexual because it makes more sense for me, being attracted to all genders regardless of, you know, who these people are. And also because of my identity as a non-binary person, because bisexual is like, you know, bi, so two genders kind of. So the word, that doesn't sit right with me sometimes. How it felt to come to this realization?
I never really grew up in a very traditionally masculine setting. I was always let to play with dolls or anything like that. I was very artistic, artsy kind of kid.
I felt very comfortable. I never thought that, for example, my family would hate me or kick me out just because of how I feel and who I love. I think I am lucky to have such a supportive family, even though sometimes in the past they made some homophobic comments or whatever.
I was never constrained from those not traditionally boyish things, and that really helped me come to terms with who I am a lot sooner than maybe some other people would.
And about being non-binary, I first realized I am non-binary when I found out about the term. Because in Romania, no one teaches you these things. So all you do is research by yourself once you find that you're not cisgender or you're not heterosexual. And being agender, which is one part of the umbrella of non-binary identities, resonated the most with me.
The central misconception that I get confronted with all the time is two words: the choice.
The first joke that everyone says when they hear I'm pansexual is, ha ha ha, so you like pans. No, I like cooking, but I don't like pans.
Almost everyone from the older generation believes that being LGBTQ+ is a choice, because I really enjoy choosing to be oppressed.
The misconception usually people have is that it's the same as bisexual, which is not true. Bisexual people are not always attracted to all genders. They can be, but not all bisexual people are attracted to all genders.
I think in the more current, more present time, things are getting better, and well, the younger generation knows it's not a choice and doesn't really say that, but the older generation is slowly getting there.
As you can see, I am a more femme presenting person, and the misconception that most people have is that non-binary people have to be androgynous or non-binary people have to look a certain way. But non-binary people exist in all forms, shapes and sizes, obviously. People here don't really know about all the LGBTQ+ identities.
It's not that great, but it's getting there. The potential is there.
It's a very taboo subject in Romania, and even inside of the queer community, some people are not exactly proud to call themselves LGBTQ+. The general population of Romania is a little bit homophobic, but things are getting better.
Over the last few years or so, the progress has been rapidly increasing.
The Pride Parade in Bucharest is always so full of color, so full of people, and it gives hope for the entire community.
Well, the capital is really okay, but as you move further away from it, things are a little shaky, but there's potential.
Activists like Antonella Lerca are showing you that it's possible to be LGBT in Romania and still be loved and accepted and find a community. I have.
In the past, not really.
When I was in school, people weren't so accepting of the fact that I was bisexual at the time, and then non-binary later in high school.
I was really straight passing when I was in the closet.
They always were saying LGBT or something like this, and they were making fun of me, saying I'm confused and I just do that for attention or whatever.
But then as I started to figure things out about myself and started expressing myself in all sorts of different non-orthodox ways, I did face, it wasn't really discrimination or anything, or at least I don't call it that. Whenever like I used to like hear comments about, let's say, nails, I wear black nails almost 24/7 now. I view it as an opportunity to educate people and tell them that, oh, who cares if I have black nails, I'm still a very interesting person to work with, or it doesn't define who I am as a person.
Another bad experience that I had was when I went to this protest in Bucharest, and I had this exact pride flag with me. When I was coming back home in the metro station, these teenagers started shouting together, LGBT, LGBT, and I was like, what the fuck? This is stupid. And when they heard me laughing, they started doing it even more and getting excited over it, you know, like, let's make this LGBT trash feel bad. It's how they were reacting. And I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna pick a fight today, then I'm just gonna go home. As I was walking, I heard them saying, go, 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 to one of their friends, and that guy just came super fast behind me and threw juice at me. I felt so shocked. I felt a little bit humiliated. I was a second-class citizen, let's say. It's really a strange experience to have this happen to you, especially when I never encountered that before. I mean, I have had slurs, curse words thrown at me, but never actual things. But some people are even more unlucky than me, so keep that in mind.
Thank you, it was really nice. Not this piece.
Yes, there are many.
First thing that comes to mind is Pride, which is in multiple cities: București, Iași, Cluj, Timișoara.
Some of the pages on Instagram that you're gonna find that are queer activists or literally pages dedicated to LGBT people are Accept Romania, Mosaic LGBT.
University clubs are a good way, but it has to be like a university with a big pool of people, so the chances of LGBTQ people being there increases.
Feminism Romania, which is like an intersectional page for feminism and queer people and other social issues. Queer Sisterhood in Cluj, and Girl Up Romania, which is again an intersectional page.
I study medicine, dentistry, more specifically in Craiova, and at my department, the dentistry, there isn't a whole lot of action going on because we're only 100 people, not that many people. But at the general medicine branch, where there are 300 and something people, there actually was an activity based around LGBTQ plus people. My university recently held an activity centered around how to be more inclusive with all kinds of patients, and the big topic at hand was LGBTQ plus patients, where we invited a psychotherapist and a spokesperson from the Accept Society in Bucharest, which both of them helped us to better understand how to deal with LGBTQ plus people in a professional medical setting. Those activities are a great way to meet other people that are either LGBTQ plus or allies.
It's hard to be an LGBTQ plus person in Romania for multiple reasons.
One big word.
Religion.
Religion is a big influencer in this because this is how people justify their homophobia, transphobia, and so on.
Religion is deeply rooted in Romanian culture.
People sometimes get hate crimed on the street, they get bullied online. If their families find out, they can get kicked out of their house, or they can stop being invited to family events, even get abused by their families.
But it's not like I hate religion or anything. I think that religion is such a complex societal concept that using it to throw hate or justify said hate doesn't do it justice. Even the homophobic things that religion has are mistranslations, because the Bible never said man shall not lay with man. The original text said something along the lines, man shall not lay with children.
Communism was a big factor of LGBTQ plus erasure and homophobia and transphobia. People were put in jail for multiple years during communist times, and they were killed, they were beaten, and they went through all of the horrible experiences you can think of. And that stigma was taught to our parents, to our grandparents, to us being their children, because of generational trauma, the way they were educated as young people. Dating is pretty tricky here in Romania. Depending on how you identify, on your sexuality and gender and whatever, you pick different apps. As we all know, Grindr is a good app for gay men and sometimes trans people looking for hookups generally. And then there is Tinder, which, you know, everyone uses. Bumble, I also saw, is starting to get some traction here in Romania. As for apps specifically for lesbians or people attracted to women, there is Her, but it's not working so much here in Romania, at least in my opinion. Obviously not as good as Grindr. It's difficult to find people to date, especially because of the stigma and homophobia that we encounter daily. People are still in the closet. They don't want to show off their sexuality or gender on social media or on dating apps. It's quite difficult to find like-minded people. Of course, there are the groups and the pages that I was talking about earlier that you can access and find queer people. But if you are a, you know, baby gay, we call them, maybe you don't really know these pages and you don't know how to navigate that. Here in Craiova, it's especially hard to date because there is like no one on the apps. Unless you have friends who are LGBT, it's pretty difficult. In Bucharest, though, it is a little bit easier.
Well, I'm not officially out to my parents.
Like I said, my family is pretty supportive, especially now. They are even activists.
It's a whole gray area there, but it was never hard for me to talk about these sort of things with them.
My mom sometimes fights for LGBT rights, and my brother too, obviously. But not everyone is this lucky.
With my dad, it was a bit difficult because he's thick-headed like me, but my mom is very understanding. Well, she has some ideas that I don't agree with. She has been very open-minded.
With friends, I think it's much better than it was like 5 years ago.
With colleagues and friends, it wasn't hard.
Most people that you talk to are now kind of open-minded. They've heard about some terms of the LGBTQ community.
I've surrounded myself with accepting people, and well, I'm out to basically my whole university year, 100 people.
Or if they are in the community, obviously they're very open. But you can also be friends with some people and not realize how homophobic or transphobic they are until you get to know them better over a longer period of time. Coming out to your friends is a little bit easier than coming out to your family in this generation.
Being out to that many people kind of filters the people that come to you, the ones that should stay, and the ones that shouldn't, leave. think there are any policies or laws that directly affect us. Well, our teenage life, to say the least.
There are many policies that can be adopted by Romania. We are one of the worst countries in Europe with LGBTQ plus rights.
Not being able to get married.
We don't even have the civil partnership.
Bank stuff, it's like complicated when you don't have like a marriage certificate.
Obviously, one of the laws that can be adopted is this: queer people being able to be recognized as real couples living together.
Being able to adopt children.
Being able to adopt children, or being able to do surrogacy or embryo transfers from woman to woman, or these kinds of procedures that queer people have to go through in order to have biological children. In our legislation, there are some laws protecting queer people, but they are not respected.
Older people grew up in a whole different society, which was very uniform with few variables, and we are a very big variable that goes out of line, which is very disruptive towards a stable existence, to say the least.
Stop and ask yourself, why do I think this?
What would that child choose?
Is it my original thought, or is it something that was taught through hate speech and through conservative media? I would also say that everyone deserves to have a family, to be able to share their love with their kids and all of their family members. On another note, there are a lot of kids in foster care and in abusive families that deserve a better life.
Would they choose to stay in the arms of the state in an orphanage with very few resources that doesn't get funded by the state, or in the loving embrace of two dads or two moms or whatever LGBT couple there is?
And LGBT people are always there to offer this life, and so it's a very well thought decision. There have been studies showing that LGBT couples are more likely to adopt children who have disabilities, even STDs like HIV.
They don't take into consideration the children here.
LGBT people are always gonna be here to adopt. I think the best advice is
be yourself no matter what.
Be careful who you come out to.
Hang in there. Things will continue to get better.
Stay safe. Know your friends in the community and the supportive pages and activists. If you ever need advice about anything, don't hesitate to contact these organizations or these activists or even myself.
You'd be surprised that people around you don't care as much as you think they do about you expressing yourself how you want.
Be proud of yourself, love yourself.
Look at me, I'm in the worst country in the EU for LGBTQ plus people, and I still walk around in full view of other people with black nails and jewelry all over me. People don't care as much as you think they do.
Show the people your personality and how much you love being you.
So, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy? I think there was a lot to listen, a lot to learn. And I hope you guys enjoyed as much as me to have this conversation with them. They are really loving people. And, of course, once again, I want to ask you if you're gonna comment, to comment with love, because love always wins. And happy Pride! Vă pup! Vă iubesc! Pa, pa!